All right, well, let's get started. Hello, thank you for joining us today. We're happy to have you here with us to talk about enterprise loyalty for your financial institution. We will leave time at the end of today's webinar for questions. So if at any point you have a question, please drop it in the Q&A box in the Zoom dashboard at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to those at the end. My name is Bridget Lang. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing here at Razor. Razor is a marketing technology company. We're based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And at Razor, we leverage our own configurable technology platform with behavioral science and our own strategy and creative teams to build comprehensive enterprise loyalty solutions for our clients. Today, we're talking about enterprise loyalty for banks, credit unions, and financial institutions. And in today's financial world, rewards are just not enough. The market is saturated, products feel commoditized. This makes the job of banks and credit unions even more challenging. And that's why enterprise loyalty is really the way of the future, and why we're excited to be talking about Razor Financial's Loyalty Core. Loyalty Core is a platform that will serve as a hub, a centralized hub, to synthesize data from customers that will provide a unified view of the customer to make true enterprise loyalty a reality for your financial institution. Loyalty Core can establish an immediate sense of loyalty for your new customers from your financial institution's reward program for supported capabilities. I'd like to introduce Sarah Cole, Vice President here at Razor Financial and the guru of all gurus on credit card and enterprise loyalty for financial institutions. Sarah's successful consultative approach with mid-size and Fortune 500 companies has enabled them to successfully engage with audiences who drive their revenue. Throughout her more than 20 years of experience, Sarah has been instrumental in securing and growing partnerships with the likes of Charles Schwab, US Bank, Wells Fargo, BECU, SECU, and others. And she speaks at national industry events and private corporate events, and we're lucky to have her here at Razor. Sarah, I turn it over to you to talk about enterprise loyalty via Loyalty Core.
Wonderful. Thank you. And good afternoon and welcome everybody for joining us. We have quite the crowd today on the webinar, which is exciting to see. So this is the official introduction of Loyalty Core. And if you think about it from a financial institution perspective, you have all of these different software platforms that you leverage to help you run your business. You have, debit and credit processing, you have loan origination systems, you have your banking cores that help you behind the scenes manage everything. You have your online, banking providers. All of those together are very key and important to run your business. And so now we're taking it a step up of what's a loyalty core. How can this loyalty core really encompass everything that you need to think about when it comes to loyalty? And that is loyalty beyond what we all traditionally think of when it comes to the banking space, which is I get a point when I swipe my credit card and I can go spend those points on merchandise and travel. Now, those are still great programs, very necessary in the financial industry, but Loyalty Core is really just leveling that up to really expose and expand what you can think about from loyalty when it comes to your financial institution. So as we dive in, there's actually a problem when it comes to enterprise loyalty. Banks and credit unions, this has been on their initiative list to discuss, to research, to figure out a plan for really for the last, upwards of 5 to 7 years. It's been on initiative plans. Innovation teams are discussing it. Strategy teams are discussing it. Marketing hubs and, people that sit in, the chief payments officer is how do we bring this all together? And yet we're challenged to actually move forward and actually execution of enterprise loyalty. And there are a few reasons why this happens. So first is around fragmented relationships. And I know I've had more than enough conversations with banks and credit unions where you are struggling because household product penetration has been dropping. Consumers, they're not consolidating their banking needs all at a single financial institution anymore. With the rise of Google and all of these different sites, if I want a credit card, I just start Googling what's the best card, where can I get the best rate at, what gives me the best rewards. Same thing with a mortgage. I can go into Rocket Mortgage and get 25 quotes within 2 hours. for what I need to have. So the situation of the past was I would simply go to my one banking provider if I needed a mortgage or a HELOC or an auto loan or a credit card or really any type of financial product. Today, that's just not the world. We have so many fragmented relationships. So that is a challenge. Second one, silos and protectiveness. And I know every single one of you right now can be like, yeah, that happens at our place too. So what ends up happening is that, financial institutions are very much in silos. You have your mortgage department, you have your card department, you have all of these different departments that have their own technology, that have their own CRM system or data list of their customers, and they're fiercely protective of that. I don't want you talking to who I have, right? Now, the overarching bank or credit union strategy is let's break down those silos and share the wealth and do cross-sell and all those great things. But it's still a slow evolution on that front, which leads into, obviously, when you have silos from a customer information perspective and even from a data perspective, you get very complex data sources. So you've got a data stream that goes to your debit processor. You have a data stream that comes in from your credit card processor, from your mortgage side, from your HELOC side, from your checking side of everything. So you have all of these data streams and they don't always all talk together. So it can be a real challenge to try to have that unified view of the customer so that you can actually treat them in a holistic way, which is required for enterprise loyalty. And then C-suite support, or should I say a lack of C-suite support or executive alignment is the real issue. When you have something like enterprise loyalty, it will cross across multiple departments, multiple budget lines. And unless the C-suite is aligned and in support of building towards this, it's going to be a challenge. And then last but not least, even if you get all of these things figured out and you say, okay, C-suite's on board, we know we want to do this. This is our initiative going into 2024 is to figure this out. What ends up happening is just this huge level of uncertainty of how the heck do we even go about trying to put this together? We have to write a business case. Well, what do we write it on? What should we reward? What should the output be? All of those things can become very confusing. And a lot of the times without the system in place, you're very limited on what you can do. And they end up being programs where it ends up just being cash back in a savings account based on a couple number of actions, right? So there's a lot of frustration around even just trying to put the plan together of how to get to enterprise loyalty. So Razor, taking a step back and understanding the world that we're in and having the platform that was built for enterprise loyalty, we understand these challenges and we put together Loyalty Core. And when I say Loyalty Core, it's more than just our platform that can deliver on enterprise loyalty. It's all of the things that happen around the platform from a services perspective, from a strategy perspective, from a consulting perspective, from a marketing perspective, from an engagement perspective, that is all required to really truly deliver on enterprise loyalty. So the solution, we need to shift beyond programs that go into just traditional rewards. So we now need to evolve from a financial institution that when we say, yep, we have rewards, we've got a one rewards credit card, we need to change that and actually become a real engagement strategy around how do we rethink loyalty with our members and with our customers across the banking relationship. And so in order to do that, to create what we call a sustainable behavior change, it really requires four things: awareness, education, motivation, and systems. So awareness is, do our members, do our customers even know what we want them to do? Education is, do they know how to do the things we want them to do? Motivation is, why should they care? What's in it for them? And then the system is, how do we make all of this work? So those four components are critical to get to enterprise loyalty, to get to a position where you are now back in the seat of being the primary financial institution for the customers and members that you serve. So we do that through Loyalty Core. Loyalty Core is powered behind the scenes with our platform, Fibonacci, but it takes into account all of the components that are necessary to run an enterprise loyalty system. So we're going to go into each one of these fun little circles, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into what they mean and how it can impact the way that you can think about enterprise loyalty. So starting off is data management. We're tackling the big one right away. How the heck do you look at data across the board and make it work for you? So you need a platform that can bring in multiple streams of data. So your typical loyalty program today sits probably with a credit card processor that is taking in just your credit card data to run a loyalty program, right? You're not going to send your mortgage data, your debit data, how many times somebody does a mobile deposit to that provider. They're not built for that. They can't take it in and they can't action against it. So you need a platform that can take in all of these different data integrations and bring it together. Then benefit from existing relationships. You have already made investments into key technologies. And so having a loyalty core the way that Razor has designed ours is we can actually plug in to where you already have existing relationships, be it a CRM system or something else that we can tap into to put it into the bigger loyalty core circle, and you can benefit from where your investments have already been made. Then adding new partners to expand the loyalty ecosystem. Of course, we have our partners, but you have partners too, or you will come across new partners that you would love to have a part of your loyalty system. So you can think about Razor's loyalty card, not as a be-all end-all. I mean, we certainly can be that for you, but we want to be your core, just like a banking core is. You can bring in your own mortgage origination. You can bring in your other technologies that you choose to have, and it can all plug into the core where everything exists for loyalty. Scalable and configurable data model requirements. Key. We have to be able to configure the data in a way that actually works so that people can have points or earnings or behaviors across multiple services or products that they're involved with. And then most important at the end is you have to be able to bring it together by a household. So if I earn points on a debit card and on a credit card and also on my mortgage, I want to have one point bank where I can bring all of those together. And that's what Razor's Loyalty Core will offer to you. So we can have it all together, one bank earning point bank, or we'll go through some different outcomes that could happen because of that. But that's really critical from a data management perspective. Okay, take a deep breath. This is not meant for you to understand everything that you're seeing here. Just know that when it comes time to put something like this in front of your tech teams, they will look at this, take a deep sigh of relief and say, okay, they have a plan that can help us get our data together. They know where our integrations come in. They can bring in third-party integrations, whether they're third-party that we already have or other parties that we bring in all together. So this is just a sneak peek behind the scenes of the way that we architect our platform so that it does the things that we said on the previous page around data management. Okay, next one, rules engine. So say we get all this data in, what do you do with it? All right, so you need a very robust rules engine that can drive very targeted strategies that you want to do. Now, again, we'll go back to the one that everybody knows in the industry, which is credit card rewards. So the rules engine for a credit card rewards is when I swipe my card, my general spend rule is that I get 1 point for every $1 spent. Maybe you're running a promotion. So if it's at an MCC code for gas, maybe I get an extra point for that month of July. So those are robust rules that you need to have, but those just work within a credit card transaction. We need to think bigger and beyond that. We need to have available, obviously we said, access to all of the available data so we can create personalized experiences. You've heard this before. Treating everybody the same is just not going to work in the world that we're moving forward. So how do we leverage the very data that we have to create those personalized experiences? And then the ability for both single and grouped promotions. So not every single person in your portfolio needs to get the exact same promotion. That goes back to creating personalized experiences. We can single out groups of people that we want to change a very specific behavior in versus something that everybody would have access to. Visual and rule administration, we got to make it easy, right? That's the big thing, is keep it simple. So how do we set these up? How can you manage through these rules, and what does that look like? So that is all built into this loyalty core. And then triggered events for timely and relevant interactions. It doesn't always require you to be pushing a button at that moment. We can set things up that are always running in the background. For instance, if somebody, let's just say it's on a debit card, if they haven't used their debit card all of a sudden for a month, something is happening. You might be losing them from an attrition perspective to somewhere else. Well, instead of you monitoring that, we set up a triggered rule that would then prompt them to say, oh, I need to somehow get back in touch with these. Maybe it's a communication, maybe it's an offer, maybe it's a type of promotion. We can talk about what those look like, but triggered events can run in the background based on certain data points that we put into the system and into the configuration. So these are my favorite slides. When you think about a rules perspective, there's two areas that we need to think. One is on the earn side. So what are possible things that we can think about from an enterprise loyalty perspective that members can earn on? And then on the back side, it's what are the outputs that come with that? So we all know individual products. Credit cards right at the top. That's the one that's in our brain that we all know and love so dearly. Some people are doing the debit cards, which are still great programs, especially if they're in conjunction with a larger program, say like a credit card rewards program. But you can also start to think about it as other products that you service, whether it's mortgages or autos or HELOCs. Those are all opportunities to engage and score and give value towards a loyalty partnership. But we want to think beyond that too. So we go into product groups. What are additional ways that you can think of maintaining a good relationship and creating loyalty with your members and your customers? Well, it could be by household product penetration. If you have 3 or more or 4 or more products with us, maybe you get a bonus point pool every month. Maybe it's not just by the products. Maybe it's the spend level that you have or how many times you use the card. Or frankly, you've been with us for 10 years. We appreciate you and we want to show our appreciation. So there could be some points or some activities that earned just with longevity with the financial institution. And then there's self-serve. So this really boils down to what's going to create operational efficiencies and what is going to create stickiness. So if you can have your members or customers switch to e-statements and mobile deposits, that saves you time and energy. That saves resources. And now if you can get them to do direct deposits or auto payments, okay, that's creating that stickiness. So let's reward them for doing those behaviors. Then there's good behavior. Back to behaviors again. If you have a certain group, because again, not everybody has to get the same rewards, right? So if you have a certain group that might be struggling a little bit, well, let's do financial literacy courses. Let's have them pass quizzes. They're increasing their credit score. Congratulations. You get some points for that. You're maintaining the minimums in your checking account. You're building your savings account. All of a sudden, now you can qualify for a mortgage for us, right? So you can think on the terms of good behavior. And then just true relationship drivers, right? Birthdays, anniversaries, milestones. Congratulations, you member for 10 years. Refer friends, things of that nature. So think about that from an earn perspective. And now we have to have an output. So we're creating rules based on a multitude of different areas, but what does it produce? So from an outcome perspective, we're all familiar with points issued into a point bank, right? But there's other things you can do too. It could be fee waivers. Maybe it's an account fee waiver. Maybe if they've waived that account, maybe now they earn ATM fee waivers. It could be access to higher interest. Could be on a higher interest on a money market account or in a savings account. It could be actually a decrease in interest rate on a mortgage or a HELOC. It could be cash back into an account. That's also a very popular one. It could trigger a communication. It could signal an email, a text message, a cross-sell offer to be sent out. Another way to think about it is if you're creating different tier statuses, you can elevate them to different tier statuses that are up there. All right, rewards management. So all of those outputs need to be managed. And so there's a variety of different ways this is done. We have integrations that we already have. If you have partners that you want to bring in, we can definitely do that and talk about how that would happen. From a rewards management perspective, there's programs where they earn, let's say a points bank, and they earn cumulative awards. There's programs within a loyalty core where it can be a one-time award. So you do one thing and you get this thing. or you get this group of points, or you get this cash. We do all of the management of the point banks and help you manage your outstanding liabilities. You know, of course, we've got the diverse range of all of the different suppliers that feed into the rewards that you can give. We also support FI issued rewards. So again, like I mentioned earlier, if they want to use some points or some of their really good activities to reduce the interest on a mortgage, buy down some of the basis points, or get an increased in an interest bump on their savings account. Those are all things that we can work with you on to set up. And again, we're always bringing in new partner connections. So this is just a quick example of what, this is more of our merchandise page, but just giving you an idea of some of the things we have. Customer experience, big one. Everybody's always concerned about customer experience. This is key. Well, we want to make it very intuitive. So we have a member site. So anybody that's in a program, we call them a member site that everything loyalty lives in, based on what they're earning, what they're redeeming for, what they're getting credit for, fee waivers. It all lives in the same site for your loyalty core. So you've got the core to manage it on your side, but your members through single sign-on will have a page, a website, their own experience that they're able to go to see all of the information about what they're doing. We can do enhanced registrations. We can do survey experiences through this member site. You know, obviously we can align it and make sure it feels like the extension of your own organization. We want it to feel from a look and a feel perspective, exactly like it's just an extension of who you are today. It comes with both email and we have text message support for any of the transactional things that we're doing or campaigns that you're running. And of course, everything is done through single sign-on to make it super easy for your members to access and your customers to access their loyalty portal for everything. And then everything is built on API and webhooks, so we can connect into all of the online banking systems. So you can actually not only have them come to the loyalty core page, but also be able to be connected directly into data that's shown on their own online banking site or mobile app. And here's just a couple of examples of what your member experience could look like when they come into this loyalty core. And then last, but certainly not least, is program administration. We need to make it easy to run. If it's overly complicated, you're not going to do anything with it. So we want to help you master the program efficiency with this. So you have support from us. We will also train you in on how to use the administrative sites that we put together. We can configure programs, promotions, change up the member experience. It's where you can manage all of your campaigns through. It can serve based on the size of your bank or credit union as customer service applications. You can do member lookup in there. You can actually send it to your call center so they can see what's happening within your members or customers and be able to respond and react to that. And again, it's managed by us, or we can extend it into your FI. And then reporting. You got to know what's going on in your program. So there's a whole myriad of reports that are available to understand what's happening in your loyalty core. And everything is managed based on user rights. So you can change what different people in your organization get to see. So just a couple quick examples. This is just a quick snapshot of the current administrative portal. So you can see where you can see different things about a member, programs that are being run. And this is just a very simplistic program dashboard. This is updated every 24 hours. So you're always having the most common data right at your fingertips. And then beyond this, there's additional reporting and analysis that we do with the banks and the credit unions. So really kind of to wrap it up, enterprise loyalty really is the future for financial institutions. And we're challenging all of the banks and credit unions out there to think about loyalty beyond what you currently have today, which most likely is just a credit card rewards program. Because of the fractioned relationships, because of the commoditized products, we're fighting to get back to a world where you can be a primary financial institution. And a key driver to make that happen is to take yourself out of just commoditized products or siloed organizations and really start to form that relationship with your member or with your customer as a true financial partner. And that a big portion of that is enterprise loyalty. So you're really valuing them on multiple levels across multiple products and multiple services. All right. With that being said, do we have any questions that have come through?
We do, Sarah. Thank you so much. It's exciting to hear you talk with such enthusiasm about Loyalty Core and the future of loyalty programs for financial institutions. So a couple questions have come in so far. And the first is this. So this person says, enterprise loyalty has been on our list for the last 2 years, but we've not made any advancements. How do we get started?
Very common one, not an uncommon story at all. So it is a challenge because people don't know where to start. And sometimes when people tackle, how do I do enterprise loyalty? They try to think of everything and they're boiling the ocean, and that just does not work. You need a solid plan. You need a crawl, walk, run strategy. And there's a couple of ways to do this. One, we will have a webinar coming up, which is a 10-point plan to get started in enterprise loyalty. So keep your eyes open for that webinar in January. And outside of that, sometimes it is beneficial to bring in an outside source that can help you facilitate executive alignment across the C-suite, help you dig into the value of what you should reward and how much that should be worth, and what you should give as the reward options. And so, as an aside, Razor has done a pretty extensive amount of consulting work with banks, credit unions, and even into the core processors and banking cores around how to think through enterprise loyalty. So that's always an option if you're interested in that.
Okay. How expensive is a full enterprise loyalty program?
Okay, another great question. And you're going to love my answer. Well, it varies. I mean, you have to build a program based on what makes sense for your size organization. Something that we're building for a processor or a core is a little bit of overkill for what an individual bank or credit union might need to have. So really it comes back to that crawl, walk, run program. Will it be more expensive than a credit card rewards program? Yes. But will it provide more value than just a credit card rewards program? Also, yes. But that, again, that's where it comes down to when you write the business case. It's what does it cost you today to do these things, or what is the lifetime value of one of your customers, and what's the attrition rate that you have? And we tackle those head on. And when you're in a crawl, walk, run strategy, you are building the business case each time you're adding something new that is then cost justified. Because at the end of the day, if this is not producing a positive ROI, you should not be doing it. So the investment should absolutely provide more return than it costs you.
Absolutely. We have 2 more questions in the queue now. If anybody else has questions, feel free to drop them in because we've got a couple minutes. I heard you have a partnership with Jack Henry. We are currently on their Scimitar platform. Will we have access to this platform through Jack Henry? I think, will we have access to the Loyalty Core through Jack Henry?
You will have access to it through Jack Henry. So that's one of our newer partnerships that we're in the build stage for. So we are redoing 2 of the products they have today and then building to full enterprise loyalty. So within 2024 to 2025, you will be able to have a lot of the services that I described through Jack Henry. And if you're interested in going down that path and want to learn more, reach out to me directly and we can loop in your Jack Henry representative to talk about how this could be a partnership that you could do through them. That might help reduce some of the implementation timelines.
Super. All right. And last question, can my credit card processor program do this too?
If they could, they would already be doing it, but they can't. Here's the challenge. Those cores, the loyalty cores there, or our loyalty core was set up for enterprise loyalty. They were designed for credit card rewards programs. They're singular in nature. They're very focused on it. And it becomes very cumbersome and challenging to break out of that. And what it would require to actually lead to enterprise loyalty. Other things I've heard credit unions or banks discuss with me is, I wish I could go through them, but here's the reality is I don't want to send my mortgage data, my, who did a mobile deposit, my debit data to my credit card processor, because it would require me bringing multiple streams of data into a processor that I might leave in the next 3 years. Sure. So it's really challenging to build a full enterprise loyalty program with somebody like a credit card processor, because that's just servicing one element. And if you leave the processor, you leave your program behind. So it is important to find an independent third-party loyalty company that can build this for you, that can grow with you and just change the data streams. When you switch processors or you switch loan origination systems, your core loyalty platform is still there and will work and grow with you.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. Well, thank you, Sarah, so much. If you want to learn more about the loyalty core offered by Razor Financial, scan the QR code on the screen here or reach out to Sarah directly. And we would love to continue this conversation with you. And then we'll be back in 2024 as we continue on the Razor Financial webinar series, learning more about our loyalty core and all of its offerings. Until then, enjoy the holiday season. Thank you, Sarah. Good to have you all with us today as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Appreciate it.
Bye.